En Cuba nació la rumba, nació el guaguancó. Oof, it's a sexy, brisk 48 degrees today. So I started thinking to myself, yo, what are some flying under the radar indie niche fragrances that are perfect for this weather? Now I started combing through some of the fragrances, not all of them, but there's certain ones that stood out to me that I'm like, damn, maybe I'm gonna put some people on to some sexy fragrances if their noses align with mine, especially brands that they potentially have never heard of. So let's roll my music so I can put you on to 8 indie niche fragrances that have no real hype that absolutely smell amazing for the fall. Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy C to the U to the B to the A. Let's jump right into this list. I got 8 different fragrances, and to be honest, the list could have been 10, 20 different fragrances, but I wanted to condense it and keep it still tolerable to watch, because I know for some of y'all watching me is like pulling teeth. I get it.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Wait, that just kind of came out on its own.
Yeah, that slipped right out, huh?
I barely pulled that.
But I have a fantastical nose, and usually the people who align with my personal taste definitely seem to agree. You know that I generally lean more towards cold weather fragrances, especially fall and winter. I like bolder, smokier, resinous fragrances with booze and sweet elements like plum. So definitely had to incorporate this fragrance by a brand called The Elemental, and this one's called Cashmere Sex. And if you can see the notes right on here, the first 2 notes are Uncle Cuba's tea, plum, fig, and white musk. So you already knew this was going to be on the list. But for me, this fragrance definitely leans more for the fall weather and is absolutely beautiful and unique in its own right. Let's take a couple of sniffs of it real quick. Beautiful sweetness up top. There's a little bit of a hempy marijuana-ish kind of note in here that smells absolutely beautiful. It's more like leaning towards the green patchouli-ish side, but there's a little bit of a hempy energy. The plum is juicy, the fig is perfect and earthy. The muskiness in here is warm, it's comforting, it's sexy. Very slept on fragrance because most people don't know about the brand. And to be clear, this brand's got some bangers. Independently black owned, and he's doing shit the way he wants to do it. Gorgeous scent, plum, fig, just sign me up. Perfect for the fall and winter. Bro, you gotta try this shit. Next one. And speaking of plum, Amber Absolutely by Fort & Manley. This has definitely been on a few of my lists. I've had this fragrance for a numerous amount of years and it never seems to disappoint me. It just gets better and better with more shelf life. It's like beautifully aged wine. Incredible scent profile. Only should be present during the cold weather seasons, but a beautiful, clean plum fragrance. The fragrance also encompasses some dry elements in vetiver. It's got a rosy appeal, but amber, plum is really the star of the show, along with a sexy musk and a little bit of a blackcurrant energy. This shit is crazy. I honestly feel that it gets better and better with age. I don't even know if they still make this fragrance, to be honest with you. It's not that I looked it up, its availability. I just want to say that I don't even know if it still comes in the same presentation because this shit is old school. It's fucking delicious, bro. Amber Absolutely. The House of Fort & Manley also does beat shit.
Are you okay?
Next one. Next one is gonna be by a brand called Day 3, and this one, La Tacita de Café, is definitely one that I loved at first sniff. Essentially, it translates to a little cup of coffee. And especially for my Latinos in the community, that tiny cup of coffee, or the Italian community with a little espresso, everybody needs their coffee in the morning. But La Tacita de Café has this beautiful brown sugary essence. You got that latte blend, a gorgeous Arabica coffee bean, allegedly. Sexy, creamy vanilla bean, a fire amber, and of course, it's got a little bit of rum. Have you ever put a little bit of booze in your coffee to get your day started? I actually don't drink coffee anymore because I don't know, it just accelerates me too much. I think the older I become a little bit like, not caffeine allergic, but something about it just accelerates my heart in a specific type of way, and it makes me feel like when I used to do like crazy narcotics. Cuban coffee is dangerous. That's why meth never took off in Miami, because you got cortaditos and coladas.
Tight, yeah!
Scent has great performance, a beautiful scent sillage, absolutely fall and winter appropriate. It's creamy, it's gourmandy, it's boozy, it's coffee, it's musky, it's clean, it has some brightness, and the brand came out swinging with a bunch of other fragrances that also smell amazing, that are inspired by the essence of Dominican nature. Well, more like Dominican wife told you to fucking make a fragrance brand representing me, which I can assimilate too, brother. Next one. I don't even want to spray this fragrance. Performance, 14 hours easy, like most of the fragrances from this brand. 2 sprays, I'm fine. Don't spray it on clothes because it'll never come off. Vier Amber by Primera Parfums is too much. Too much. Too fucking much. And it just went on my fingers too. Oh, I'm never gonna get it off. Look at that shit. Ah. But it's done right, fam. Like, this shit is bold. This is more for the colder weather. There's a lot of sillage cloud in the air right now, let me tell you. Some of the notes in this fragrance are sandalwood, vetiver, orris root, black suede, Earl Grey tea. This shit is bold and super handsome. It definitely leans more like the black jacket wearing temperature. Dope boots, chunky scarf. Fucking fire, actually addictive as shit. Comes off a little bit extra green, not necessarily Earl Grey, but green. I think the mild powdery essence from this fragrance coming off from the orris root and a little bit of bergamot is what's saving it from being a very dark resinous fragrance. It's giving it some life and some energy, but this is beautiful. It's black jacket, suede, leather, woody, vanillic, sexy, also ambery, with a mild element of green and brightness to help offset all those dark elements. Absolutely beautiful. Just be easy with the trigger because this shit is dangerous.
I also like to live dangerously.
And speaking of dangerous, 𝗙𝗪𝗔𝗀 Infusion Velour. Between that whole 𝗙𝗪𝗔 lineup, it was this one and Wood Whispers that really did it for me. The only problem with the Wood Whisper is the version that I have has that little glass stick applique, which I can't fucking stand. Although it has some elements there that when I do it on the wrist, it kind of stays on a watch's fabric. If it's a leather band or a nylon band, it stays there and it kind of produces a nice sexy smell to offset that nasty sweat wrists daily watchwear stink. This shit is crazy. The notes in this fragrance are wild. Cinnamon, oud, patchouli, incense, and blackberry. Bold, rich, the oud is super wearable. Great performance out of this fragrance. Absolutely beautiful for the winter time. You can spray this on a hoodie. If you got like a big fur neck, like some of the Canada Goose got that fucking faux, like fox neck or some shit, spray it on that shit and just throw it over your head and then you'll have that scent cascading all over your face. Amazing performance, well over 10 hours. For me, I don't need any more than a 5 sprayer. I live around that 5 sprayer mark. This one I can definitely pull off a 4 sprayer. I don't like to be OD in the fragrance. I like to enjoy it myself. Hopefully other people get that waft and that scent as well, but I want to fucking rock it. I want to boost my confidence. I want to smell sexy. This fragrance is definitely way under the radar. Nobody gives a shit about it. Nobody's barely heard of it, but it's a sleeper and it's absolutely sexy. Just not cheap. Keep that in mind. Actually, most of these ain't cheap. Next one.
Wait, what?
The next one is by my peoples over at Savoir-Fait, and that's Hava Flora, one of their new releases. This would be on the, what I thought would be on the bottom of the list of fragrances that I enjoy. He has a Figgasm scent, which I thought would be 100% up my alley. This one smacked the piss out of that one. Hava Flora is yuzu, frankincense, iris, coffee, tuberose, myrrh, even though tuberose, but whatever. Black pepper, jasmine, and musk. What I'm getting out of this joint is definitely an incense coffee vibe. Very clean, wearable musk. The yuzu is providing a little bit of a crisp apple kind of scent. Very inviting, extraordinarily wearable, and I think a lot more versatile than just fall and winter, but it has a lot of bold entity in this fragrance that make it just beautiful. Sometimes fragrance doesn't have to be that complicated to break down its description. The shit is beautiful off my skin. I love how it just shines. It's its own personality, it's its own character. Nothing else smells like it, and it's perfect for me. A beautiful scent, a great release. If you don't know the house of Savoir-Fait, Google it. Next one. A powdery beast that's an oldie but a goodie. Kieran NYC's Nitro Noir. Where's the fucking label? Over here, there we go. Nitro Noir, which is essentially just crazy orris root and pink pepper essences from this shit. It's got a nice Play-Doh-ish kind of vibe. The orris root here is absolutely the star, and the pink pepper is right next to it. So you got this powdery essence providing this mild spicy with a little bit of a sweet tone. The easiest way to describe this shit, it smells like red Play-Doh, kind of. The fragrance also has like a mild nuttiness coming off of it, and a bitter chocolate essence. Very handsome, a sleeper, had a little bit of a wave of hype, but people had slowly forgotten about it. Not extraordinarily expensive, it's still under the $200 range if I'm not mistaken, but a great fragrance that has about a 7-hour performance off of my skin, so it isn't a beast mode scent, but definitely cater more to the cold weather fragrance. And if you're looking for a powdery yet slightly sweet, spicy fragrance, Nitro Noir by Kieran NYC might do it for you. Next one. And finally, probably up there with some of the strongest. I mean, it'll battle Primera Parfums and the Eau Jar fragrance as far as performance. The artistry in this fragrance is absolutely spectacular. Beautiful scent. The ones who know, and that's Tower L'Air du Desert Marocain, aka number 2. Took me a long time to get this fucking scent. Took me a long time with forgetting and getting the influx of fragrances that I get. This shit went under the bus, but I had never forgotten how this fragrance smells, and it's very bold. Its presence is very known. It is a strong scent, but fucking gorgeous. Hence, mini goosies. The Tower fragrance has oak moss, amber, cedarwood. This shit is powerful, sexy, very much cold weather, but it's in a category of its own. Like, it's simplistic artistry done correctly. It is a very bold, rich, deep fragrance that can bottle with the mass appeal. The oak moss here gets a little bit old school and traditional, right? So it might throw some people off. It's definitely not a young buck party kind of fuckboy energy at all. It's very classy, very elegant, very demure, but very handsome, at least in my opinion. I love how this smells. When the cold weather gets a hold of this fragrance, ain't no stopping it. Tower does make some crazy fragrances. I've smelled, I believe, 4 different scents. I had gotten them years back in like a mini sample bag, and I remember that all of them smelled completely different from one another. They were extraordinarily unique, and they all had incredible performance, but they were all very bold and rich, and like, what picture is this artist trying to paint type shit? Like, in my brain, I pictured like weathered old paper, like vintage paper, almost crumpled up with that yellowish hue, with a beautiful felt tip writing on it. It's an artistry piece, so it's for the crazy masses, but it's very handsome scent. It's right up my alley. I think it's just done exquisitely and definitely up there with one of the best ones in this list. And there you have it, 8 fragrances that fly under the hype radar that I think y'all should sample if even possible. I don't know if there's a lot of samples of these fragrances out there, but Google anything and you'll be able to come across it. These aren't the cheapest of fragrances. I keep it out there all the way $1, but this isn't about affordability. These are about flying under the radar, unhypey, indie niche fragrances that don't have the major marketing exposure and make a really good scent that maybe, if our noses align, you can potentially try. If not, then don't. Ain't that complicated. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all bitches next time. You know who it is, biggest in the game. Smooches.
For the fly gun holder, money folder, Motorola start tack when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.